And of course, we will talk about Gilas Pilipinas.
Yes.
Their historic win against New Zealand and their upcoming game against Hong Kong as FIBA writer and media officer Enzo Flojo joins us again live.
Our lucky charm.
Yes.
He is back on the show. I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Tuncalo.
And here's tonight's play-by-play.
Ramiro, the show by Mamoy Lee. Puts it on. Unbelievable. Gemma on the left side. Oh, the pass! Stuffing another one. Bacunas rejecting Espejo for the
A stunner by the Orlando Magic in their match against the Los Angeles Lakers at Crypto.com Arena in California. The two hottest teams in the league right now going down the wire here. But the Magic managed to escape by just a single point. 119 to 118. A clutch performance from Franz Wagner as the German scored 15 of his 37 points in the payoff period. The 23-year-old swingman out of Berlin also made the biggest play of the game. Wagner sinking a three from top of the key to put the Magic ahead in the dying seconds. The Lakers tried but failed, as you can see, to answer back with 2.5 seconds remaining. And this snaps LA's six-game winning streak. The Lakers also waste big games by LeBron James and Anthony Davis. AD at 39, while LBJ added 31 markers in a losing effort. Orlando has now won 7 of their last 8 games. Their record stands at 10 wins and 7 losses, number 4 in the East. And here's what Wagner had to say after the big win in LA.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're down 2. Got lucky with them missing a couple free throws at the end. And yeah, we didn't have any timeouts, so at first I had AD on me, and then we found a way to, switch that matchup a little bit. And yeah, they were set up pretty well, so I didn't really see any driving lane, and I felt like the one before felt really good. So yeah, and I think in those moments you don't really think too much, but guess I made a good call.
Meantime, the San Antonio Spurs win again in their second straight game without Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs beat the Utah Jazz 126 to 118, rallying in the second half to come back from a 16-point deficit entering the third. Harrison Barnes led San Antonio with 25 points and 10 rebounds. 7 other Spurs scored 11 or more on the back of 32 team assists. 10 of those dimes came from veteran Chris Paul, who also had 13 markers. The Spurs improved their record to 8 wins and 8 losses. The struggling Jazz, on the other hand, plummet to the bottom of the standings with a 3-12 slate. Here's CP3 talking about his current role for the Spurs.
I love close games, end games. I think I get frustrated, when we do lose close games, right? Because I know clock management. I know, the plays, the shots that I want to get or anything like that. Defensively, if you watch the best teams in the league, the last 3-4 minutes of the game is a totally different game, right? You got a package that you want to go to. If your defense didn't suck all game long, you sort of lock in, you know what I mean? So that's, I think, what I try to bring to the team.
As for the Toronto Raptors, well, they still own the Minnesota Timberwolves at home. Raps win 110 to 105 to extend the T-Wolves' losing skid in Toronto. The T-Wolves have not won in Toronto since 2004 during the days of Kevin Garnett and Latrell Sprewell. Hometown hero R.J. Barrett leading the charge here for the Raptors as he dropped a game-high 31 points, including huge buckets in the fourth quarter. Scotty Barnes chipping in 17 markers in his return from an eye injury. Toronto now has 4 wins and 12 losses, while Minnesota settles for an 8-7 win-loss card.
An overtime win for the Charlotte Hornets against the Detroit Pistons. It was a seesaw battle right from the get-go, but the Hornets prevailed 123 to 121. LaMelo Ball had another huge moment for the Hornets. He overcame early foul trouble and stayed in the game until the end of regulation. LaMelo tallied 35 points and 9 assists before finally fouling out a second into overtime. Brandon Miller scored a career-high 38 points on 15 for 28 shooting. The Hornets already have 6 wins in 15 tries. The Pistons have 7 victories and 10 losses.
Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks will be without superstar Luka Doncic for at least a week due to a sprained right wrist. It happened during the Mavs' 132-91 win against the New Orleans Pelicans on Wednesday, where he scored a game-high 26 points. Luka had just returned to the lineup after missing a game last Monday due to a knee injury. Slovenian star is averaging over 28 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.6 assists so far in 14 games for Dallas this season. The Mavs will now look to lean more on his co-star Kyrie Irving as they try to move up the team standings. Mavs are currently 8-7, good for 9 in the West. Over in the UAAP, tomorrow's the last game day before the top 4 teams from both the men's and the women's basketball tournaments got it out for a shot at the UAAP title.
We've got a jam-packed Saturday at the Phil Oil Eco Oil Center with 5 games in store for you. In the men's division, the Adamson Soaring Falcons will try to salvage their semi-final dreams as they take on the already eliminated Ateneo Blue Eagles. That game tips off at 5:30 in the afternoon. A win by Adamson would force a playoff for the 4th and final semi-final slot against the UE Red Warriors. But before that, all 8 teams in the women's division will see action, starting off with the NU Lady Bulldogs and the FEU Lady Tamaraws at 8 a.m. The Lady Bulldogs are looking to complete a 14-0 sweep of the eliminations. A win by NU would force a stepladder semis where the winner faces the Bulldogs in the finals.
Then the USC Tigresses will try to end the eliminations with a 3-game winning streak as they face the De La Salle Lady Archers at 10 a.m. Then after that, the Adamson Lady Falcons will take on the Ateneo Lady Eagles at 12 noon. This game will then decide who gets to be the 3rd and 4th seeds. And lastly, a battle of 2 eliminated teams between the UP Lady Maroons and the UE Red Warriors. NU, USC, Adamson, and Ateneo are all assured of Final 4 spots. Of course, all 5 games will also be live on One Sports, the UAAP Varsity Channel, and the Pilipinas Live app.
We are still on a high after Gilas' historic win against New Zealand in the FIBA Asia Cup qualifiers. FIBA writer and Gilas youth assistant Enzo Flojo is back in the studio, not only to weigh in on that game, but to also look ahead to the Hong Kong game on Sunday. Stay tuned here on Play by Play.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us here on Play by Play only on One News. After that historic win just last night against world number 22 New Zealand, Gilas Pilipinas head coach Tim Cohn tips his hat to Kai Soto and Justin Brownlee for leading the team to victory. Cohn gave props to the two stars as well as big man Junmar Fajardo for handling the Tall Blacks' physicality really well. Soto played his best game yet in a Gilas uniform, tallying 19 points, grabbing 10 boards, and assisting 7 dimes. Brownlee put up 26 markers, 11 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Coach Tim also took note of Scotty Thompson, who had just returned to Gilas after an injury that made him miss the FIBA Olympic qualifiers. Thompson had his usual all-around game with 12 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists last night. With all the success Gilas has had since Coach Tim took over as head coach, he says the team hasn't seen its best form just yet due to injuries to key players like Jamie Malonzo and AJ Edu. And here's what Coach Tim Cohn had to say about that tough battle.
It was a tough one, man. They are good. They are really good. They are incredibly physical. Credit to Kai and Jumar battling through. Their bigs were really physical with us. And of course, Justin, they were physical with Justin. They rotated 2, almost 3 guys on him and just banged him all game long. So to overcome that and find a way to win was really special. Again, especially because of our home court, our home crowd. We haven't seen our best team yet. And yet, you know, we've been able to beat the number 6 and the number 22. So we're still trying to see exactly, you know, where we can go and how far we can go.
The next game will be against Hong Kong on Sunday, 7:30 p.m., November 24. Gilas will take on Hong Kong, and that game will still be live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and the Pilipinas Live app.
And we've got FIBA Media Officer and Gilas Youth Assistant Coach Enzo Flojo back in the studio.
Hoopnut!
Hey guys,
The lucky charm.
Glad to be back. Glad to be
Yes.
back.
Thank you for joining us again. You were with us on Wednesday
Yeah.
and your fearless forecast.
Has,
I'm just happy I did not jinx the team. No?
you did it. Can you also predict that Cheska and I, hindi, ito mayaman eh. Like, can you predict na I'll win the lottery or something? Or...
Well, I can't predict the 6 numbers thing, but we'll
Hindi
see.
kasi
We'll
tama
see.
eh. But Ches, go
Okay,
ahead.
but you know, let's start with Gilas versus New Zealand because
Yeah.
we talked about how they hadn't beaten New Zealand in recent history.
Yeah.
And finally, as
Yeah.
everyone was saying, the Kiwi curse is broken. How did we? I mean, did we talaga? Kasama tayo.
You're cheering.
How did
Ang Pilipino
Gilas?
kasama. Well, we played as well as we hoped. No, I mean, we surprisingly we out-rebounded New Zealand. No, I thought that Kai, Junmar, Scotty did a really good job. Justin, of course, with 11 rebounds as well, did a very good job on the glass. We out-rebounded by 13 rebounds.
Yes, 44 to 31,
which
correct.
was for me one of the biggest factors why we won that game. We had only 8 turnovers for the whole game, no? So that was a big factor. Also, even if New Zealand actually made 18 threes, we were able to compensate because we were much better shooting from in the two-point range naman around the basket. Kai was a big part of that, of course. 19
Yes.
points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, as Dre said earlier. So all around, we shot really well. We rebounded better, had fewer turnovers, and we got to the line 20
A lot
times.
better, yes, compared to
We
their
were
12.
disciplined on defense as well. So down the line, we played really well. And I think that Coach Tim Cohn made great adjustments. No? We started the first 3 quarters flat. No? First quarter, I think 8-0 run, New Zealand. Second quarter started flat. Same in third quarter. But he made good adjustments, and because of that, we were able to really catch up and, you know, turn the tables on New Zealand.
We're looking at the numbers right now on our screens. Nabanggit mo nga yung three-pointers mid lamang nga New Zealand dito, shooting 51.4% compared to our only 29%,
Yes.
8 out of 27. Pero we shot better naman from the 2-point area, 58% compared to their 45%.
That's true.
So as we're looking at the numbers now, we are talking about how big Kai Soto
Yeah.
was. Arguably his best game in
Yeah.
Gilas uniform. Brownlee doing Brownlee things. Junmar was also solid. Scotty was all over the floor. Who for you was the big X factor?
It was Chris Newsome. I mean, there's so many players, like you
Yes.
said, Dre, who played really well. No? Kai with the almost triple-double.
Yep.
Brownlee with the double-double, which surprises no one, actually. Junmar didn't play a ton, about
Yeah, yeah.
16 minutes now or something like that.
Very efficient.
But he was efficient.
Yeah.
Scotty obviously did really well. But Chris Newsome,
Oh, yeah.
he did not have the most ideal start to the game because he actually had 4 fouls by the early part of the third quarter.
Yeah.
So he had to sit down early in the second half. But when he came back, that's when you could notice that the tempo changed.
Yes.
He played great defense on
Defense,
Corey
yes.
Webster in the second
Yes.
half, which really slowed down
Oh, yeah.
the ace shooter for New Zealand, and obviously hit that big three late in the game that really kind of sealed the deal
Mm-hmm.
for Gilas. So I think Chris Newsome on both sides of the basketball, offensively and defensively, was an X factor for our team last night.
Actually, you know who he kind of reminded me? Watching like Gabe Norwood. Remember when Gabe was like the defensive stopper in international games?
Yeah, and hitting big shots.
Big
also.
shots
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. Parang ganun yung ginawa ni Chris Newsome last night against New Zealand.
I think that's a fair comparison, Andre. No? I mean, Gabe Norwood, 3 and D guy. That's exactly what Chris Newsome did last night. That 3 he hit actually in the fourth quarter. No? That was his only 3 of the game. Before that,
Yep.
he missed like his first 3
shots,
attempts, no,
yes.
from beyond the arc. And for him to take that shot with so much at stake, no, late in the game, it really says so much about the guts he had and the confidence he had in the team. No? And that's why he's, for me, the biggest X factor for Gilas.
Speaking of Gabe, he was also there last night supporting
Yes,
Gilas.
for sure.
Let's look ahead to Sunday.
Uh-huh.
We've beaten Hong Kong before.
Yeah.
But this current lineup, this current Hong Kong team, strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so this Hong Kong, I'm not going to overemphasize or over hype this Hong Kong team because if we're being completely objective, it's not a very, very strong team that they have. No, they have some interesting pieces. Their big man, Duncan Reed, 6'8",
Yep.
solid rebounder,
Yeah.
solid scorer around the basket. But if we're going to line him up against Kai, against Junmar, even Japeth, no, definitely our big guys would have the edge on Duncan Reed, unless they get into foul trouble, they become careless and stuff like that. The other guy I would probably focus on is 6'1" shooter named Oliver Shu, and I think he was a leading scorer against Gilas in the first window, and I think he was a leading scorer also yesterday against Chinese Taipei. So Hong Kong lost that by 30 points as well. They're gonna fly in. I think they're already here actually, and they're gonna play against a confident Gilas squad. So I think it's gonna be a very, very tough game for Hong Kong. They're a pretty decent rebounding team. They actually out-rebounded Chinese Taipei yesterday. They're a scrappy team and a quick team, but in terms of depth, in terms of size, outside of Duncan Reed, they don't really have a lot. No?
Yeah.
So I think the odds are really stacked against Hong
Yeah.
Kong.
I was about to ask, how does Gilas stack up against Hong Kong? Well, obviously Hong Kong is the underdog here.
Yeah.
Kumbaga, we survived already that tough test, which is New Zealand and Hong Kong. We wouldn't say easier, but it wouldn't be as tough probably as New Zealand. But knowing Coach Tim Cohn, he won't take any
Oh, for sure.
opponent lightly.
Yeah.
He did say earlier, and we heard him, we haven't seen the best of Gilas Pilipinas yet. Remember, Jay Malonzo still out. AJ Edu was big in the World Cup, still out.
Yeah.
We didn't see Mason Amos,
KQ.
Kevin Kiambao even play. So, do you agree with what Coach Tim said na we haven't seen the best that this Gilas team has to offer yet?
Oh, for sure. I mean, in terms of personnel, I don't think, if you ask Coach Tim, who's your best 12 right now? Barring, no limitations, no constraints whatsoever, I don't think he's had his ideal 12 yet, on the floor. So I would agree with him when he says that this is not the best 12 yet that we've seen for Gilas in terms of depth, roster-wise, and even in terms of the way they play on the floor. I think may ibubuga pa to, especially against tougher competition moving forward.
Okay.
So when we do talk about Hong Kong again, we've beaten them. How do we beat them again?
Just play our normal, steady game. No? I think the only way Hong Kong can really make this extremely competitive is with two things. No? First is if Gilas becomes very complacent and careless. No? And Indicators of that are a lot of turnovers, a lot of city fouls. I don't think they're going to do that. They're going to be disciplined. And lastly, if Hong Kong like waxes hot from long range, if they hit like upwards of 15 threes, just like New Zealand did, then maybe they can make it competitive. But apart from that, we should have the advantage and we should cruise to an easy win here.
So you got a bingo the other day when you said jackpot when fearless forecast. We have to give it to you. And we were talking about you, Cheska and I, last night. Now, wow, Enzo is actually correct. We won, close game. It was tough. Hong Kong. Will we win by a big margin? Or what do you think?
We should win by a big margin today. We beat them by 30 on the road.
Yes.
In the first window, we're playing at home. We're confident. We have the advantage from 1 through 12. I think KQ's going to play. Maybe Mason's going to play. They're going to be hungry to prove themselves as well.
Maybe Ange Kwame will also
Maybe
play,
Ange will play in place of Justin Brownlee. That's a possibility as well. We should win 40 points.
Well, whoa, okay.
I mean, playing at home, confidence.
Na-excite ako bigla.
But don't bet on that. Delikado. Pag may mag-text sa akin,
Enzo naman sabi mo.
tayo dyan.
Patay ka na, no? But, you know, brother, thank you.
Thank you, Enzo.
Always a pleasure having you here on Play-by-Play. The doors of the show always
My
open
pleasure.
to you, Mr. Hoopnut. Enzo Flojo, of course, Gilas Media Officer, Gilas Youth Assistant Coach, Enzo Flojo. Again, no, I mean it. Sulat mo yung mga lucky numbers natin.
All right,
Thank you,
thanks
Zo.
again, Enzo.
Thanks.
The UAAP cheer dance competition is just around the corner, and teams from all 8 UAAP schools are already hinting at what their themes will be. That story and more when Play-by-Play returns. Welcome back. You're watching Play-by-Play on One News. Big games in the Spikers Turf Invitational Conference at the Inares Sports Arena in Pasig. FEU DN Steel came out on top once more against its collegiate rivals Eco Oil LaSalle. The match ended in straight sets 25-21, 25-16, and 25-23. The win did not only improve the Ultras' record to an impressive 7-1, but also secured their spot in the next round. Benny Martinez orchestrated a masterful performance for FEU. He delivered 17 excellent sets that powered a well-balanced offensive assault the Green Oilers simply couldn't contain. Meantime, Signal extends its win streak to 5 games after powering past the VNS Griffins. The HD Spikers also took the match in straight sets 25-16, 25-17, and 25-17. Nigerian middle blocker Nas Gwaza led the way for Signal with 13 points, built on 9 attacks, 3 blocks, and 1 service ace. Plenty of volleyball action once more this weekend. The PVL is heading to Canton City, Ilocos Sur for its first out-of-town all-Filipino conference playdate. The Petrogas Angels and Farm Fresh Foxies raised the curtain in their 4 p.m. match. Both teams are looking to bounce back from straight sets losses last week. Then for the main game, it will be the Akari Chargers taking on the defending champions Creamline Cool Smashers. This will be a rematch of the 2024 Reinforced Conference Finals. The Chargers are out to prove they are indeed title contenders. The Cool Smashers, meanwhile, look to continue their strong start in the conference. Meanwhile, an exciting triple header awaits in the Spikers turf. The D Navigators and Savoj Spin Doctors kick off the matches at 2 p.m. at the Inares Sports Arena in Pasig. That match will be followed by Eco Oil LaSalle Green Oilers versus the Criss Cross King Crunchers. And lastly, a battle of the top teams between FEU DN Steel and the Signal HD Spikers. You can catch all the games live on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and on the Pilipinas Live app.
You know what time it is? It's time for me to head to the big screen for the highlight reel. Of course, we've got NBA and Gilas Pilipinas highlights for tonight. Let's start off in Toronto. How about this? A missed dunk here by Jaden McDaniels. Grady Dick retrieves. He runs downhill, and guess what he does? Follows his own. One up to R.J. Barrett for the two-handed flush. And the crowd and the bench of Toronto enjoy that for sure. Barrett had 31 points, and the Raptors beat the Wolves 110-105. Grady Dick had 9 markers and that 1 assist. Raptors get their 4th win of the season. Now from Toronto, let's go to the Crypto.com arena. It's Franz Wagner time. ISO against Reddish, step back 3 for the win. Bang! How about that? One more time. Wagner. Woo! Magic weather, 70 points from LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Orlando now 10-7, number 4 in the East. And from California, let's go to the Mall of Asia Arena in Pasay. Just last night, Brownlee to Kai, extra pass, big-to-big connection. Kai Soto to Junmar Fajardo. And the crowd at the Mall Arena loving it. And who doesn't? Big-to-big, the youngin' to the vet. Kai to Junmar. Ooh, what a connection there. Fajardo had 6 points in 18 minutes. Soto, of course, had 7 assists in that game. Next play, another Kai Ju highlight here. Brownlee will get this rebound from that missed 3 from New Zealand, and Brownlee up ahead to the Kaiju, up fake. Woo! What a play from Kai Soto. What a big fake for Kai there, catching Chaim Harris, flailing in midair. Watch it again. And he scores the 2. Brownlee rewarding Kai, and we'll see that smirk in just a bit. Kai, of course, flirting with a triple-double, 19, 10, and 7. And look at that smile. You love to see it from Kai. Definitely last but not the least here, it's from New. Chris Newsom, his only 3. Take a look at this. Good pass from Scotty to New for 3. That big 3 with a slim lead for Gilas, 88-84 with just over 70 seconds left. Extends Gilas' lead to 7 here. Take a look one more time. Nobody on New, too late on the recovery. And with that knockout punch of Newsom, of course, that was his only 3. And what a time to come for New with that big 3. And the whole MOA Arena going crazy. Whole country with Gilas winning 93-89. I don't want to ask you anymore.
And before we go, it's almost that time of the year again. The much-awaited UAAP cheer dance competition happens in just 9 days, and the schools are dropping some serious hints about their performances. First up, the Ateneo Blue Eagles. They are teasing the story of how the universe started. Sounds cosmic, doesn't it?
Yes.
Next, the UE Pep Squad. They're bringing the groove with a VST and Company-inspired theme. Sumayaw Sumunod. Next, the UST Salingawi Dance Troupe. They're bringing back Sinescuela. Imagine childhood nostalgia brought to life with science-inspired moves and a whole lot of energy. The Adamson Pep Squad, on the other hand, is channeling the Caribbean disco show. Get ready for tropical vibes, catchy beats, and some electric performances. The UB Pep Squad, meanwhile, is in the mood to make us believe. Literally, they've hinted at I'm a Believer by the band Smash Mouth. The DLSU Pep Squad is coming with All Hail the Queen. Is it a royal theme? It is a nod to iconic queens in music or pop culture. Whatever it is, expect DLSU to bring out their regal best. The defending champs, the FEU Pep Squad, are keeping things icy cool with Frozen. You heard that right. Elsa and Anna might just take the floor to defend their title. Lastly, the NU Pep Squad keeping us in suspense, but if their past performances are any clue, you know it's going to be big. Could this be another show-stopping, title-worthy performance? We'll just have to wait and see.
Can't wait. You got me all pumped up and excited for the cheer dance, Chess. I said I wouldn't ask you anymore because I think pareho naman tayo would probably vote on that newsome trade.
I'll watch Gilas highlights all day, every day.
All weekend long. It is a Friday. It's real now. Totoo na. Friday na today. So we'll enjoy the weekend. That's it from us the whole week. Thank you so much. Catch us again on Monday at 9 p.m. for a play-by-play of today's top sports stories.
Play-by-play is on One News, that's Signal TV Channel 8 on SD and Channel 250 on HD. We're also available on Signal Play and Pilipinas Live.
I'm Andre Felix.
And I'm Cheska Calao. Thank you for watching. Happy weekend.